I think something that all gamers can agree on is that games can be very long and demanding. Finishing games can feel like a slog sometimes. If a game demands 50 to 100 hours, I think we all know the feeling of just not having the time to commit, of slipping off when something new and shiny comes along, and adding a good game to the forever backlog. But the games I have for you today are a bit more breezy, they respect your time and they pack a lot of great ideas into a short runtime. The longest game here is just 7 hours and it still managed to feel like an epic adventure, and a couple of them give you a complete game experience in just 2 hours. So if you want something light and breezy that you can polish off in a weekend or even a day, these games might be right up your alley. And before we get to them, let me just say, this channel hit 1,000 subs today. That's a really big milestone for the channel and a step along the road to monetizing. So thank you very much to everyone who has watched, liked, subbed and shared. I really appreciate it. But anyway, that's enough inside YouTube baseball, so let's move on to some indie game outdoor baseball and get on to our first game, Betrayal at Club Low. Betrayal at Club Low is a truly eccentric game by the indie game auteur Cosmo D, and it feels like a bit of a cult game, which is a surprise given that it won the Seamus McNally Grand Prize at the IGF Festival in 2023, joining luminaries like Her Story, Fez, Outer Wilds and A Short Hike. But it didn't really blow up like a lot of those games did, which is a shame, because it's an experimental point and click about infiltrating a nightclub dressed as a pizza delivery guy. And if you're not into point-and-click games because of moon logic puzzles where you have to use a pillowcase combined with a bagpipe to make a hang glider or whatever, this game doesn't have any of that baggage. It's consistently anarchic and creative and entertaining, from the dice roll skill check system where passing or failing can be equally fun, to the use of alternate routes through the game where you meet a cast of hilarious, bizarre, shady characters, from doormen to DJs to dealers to just ne'er-do-wells, some of whom can help you in your mission to get to the VIP area in unexpected ways. And it has an aesthetic that's like an asset store jumble sale or something, and a grimy, pulsing soundtrack that evolves throughout the game. It's sharply written, and the aesthetic really is a one-off kind of thing. If you like weird indie games, then don't miss out on this one. It's a real diamond in the rough. It's $10 on Steam, it works on the Steam Deck, and it will take you around 3 hours to complete. That's Betrayal at Club Low. And the second game that I have for you today shares an anarchic punk sensibility with Club Low, but it's coming from a slightly different perspective. It's more from the skate culture side of things, with rap and trap music, making mixtapes, tagging, drugs, toilet humour, none of which is exactly my scene as a person, but this game worked for me anyway. It's a narrative parkour and exploration game by Terry Velman, with music by the rightly venerated producer Dose One. It's whip smart and genuinely cool, and you parkour around a dystopian city, upping your reputation meter by finding tag spots. And you meet a wide variety of NPCs along the way, all living in the wreckage of capitalism. They're all really funny and interesting, and the diegetic music is excellent in this one. Everywhere you go, people are playing music, and there's music coming from apartments and open windows and stores. And so the soundtrack is very much woven into the world of this game and into the pulse of this city. And as you run around tagging and finding secrets and picking up new tools and meeting all kinds of weirdos, you just fall into a lovely kind of flow. The movement is wonderful, the environment is brilliant, the characters are funny. You can finish this one in 2 or 3 hours and you can pick it up on consoles or Steam. That's Sludge Life. Sludge Life. Sludge Life. The next game I have for you is Shotgun King, and I think everyone loves a good Game Jam underdog story, like Celeste, Hollow Knight and Loop Hero, all of which started life as Game Jam games, then went on to become viral hits. And the same is true to some degree about Shotgun King, which went pretty viral just from a couple of GIFs. The concept in this one is simple. It's chess, but you play as a solitary black king. He's a dysfunctional ruler whose court has abandoned him, so he picks up a shotgun and decides to mow down the white army alone. And this works out as a turn-based roguelike with 12 levels. And it starts off pretty chill with just a couple of white pawns and maybe a knight or something, but it ramps up from level to level with more pieces coming at you. But just as there are more pieces, you get power-ups between the levels that lead to some pretty wild permutations based on what you pick up. You start off with just your shotgun, which has a very small range, and you can only move 1 square at a time, but you can power that up so you can move faster, or increase the power of your shotgun blast, or even increase its range so it's more like a sniper rifle. You can get area of effect grenades. Every run is different, and it's really fun seeing what builds are on offer. Something that I liked using was the moat, which just drops a moat down the middle of the map, and it slows down enemy pieces as they're coming towards you, which makes them sitting ducks. I actually finished my first run of this one in just 45 minutes, and I didn't play on much past that, to be honest. I felt like I had seen what the game was about. My only critique of it is that where things like Celeste and Loop Hero, and especially Hollow Knight, were really developed into fully fledged games and fully formed games. This one isn't really. It feels like a more polished version of the same sketch that won the Ludum Dare Game Jam, and I was kind of wishing there was more content here. After finishing my first run, I was ready for more levels with new enemies and new bosses, and that just isn't really in the game. Short games are very much the MO of the developer, but I can't help thinking that they missed a trick by not adding more content or DLC. But with that said, I'm still recommending it. It's only $7 on Steam, and I think it's worth it at that price. There is an endless mode and some difficulty levels to take on for a little more longevity. I played this one on Switch, and it's a perfect handheld game, but you can also play it on all of the consoles in the final Checkmate edition, that's Shotgun King, which leads us nicely onto our last game, a hidden gem Metroidvania that I think a lot of people out there would really enjoy. It's called Haiku the Robot. I have a funny story about Haiku the Robot actually. I bought this game by accident. I confused it with Electhead, a puzzle platformer that had been in a Nintendo Direct, and while they do share cool Game Boy style visuals with that distinctive colour palette, they're very different games. When I started playing this one, I realised the mistake quickly. It's not a puzzly action platformer, it's actually a very, very cool, perfectly formed mini Metroidvania, like Hollow Knight's cool pixel art kid brother or something. And I really enjoyed the journey of this one, from buying it by accident, to realising it was something else, to sinking slowly into it, and ending up playing through to credits and actually thinking very, very highly of this game. And we play as Haiku, a small cute robot who wakes up in a pod and comes out into a devastated robot underworld. We head out, we explore, we find different biomes, we learn to fight, we beat bosses, we pick up power-ups that let Haiku do different things. And we start to pick up plot threads that tell us why the world is this way, like where are all the people, who made these robots and what are they doing. It's a very minimal game that does a little with a lot, but I think the combination of smart pixel art and a really lovely, immersive, deep, atmospheric soundtrack really sell this one. It's a labour of love and you can feel that. It's the work of a single solo developer called Jordan Morris, but a big shout out to Guy Jones, who did a wonderful job with the music and the dripping sounds and the sounds of space and machinery. I think if you're one of the many people who is waiting for Silksong, this is a really, really good little Metroidvania. There are quite a lot of indie Metroidvanias out there, but I play as Haiku the Robot, very near the top end of those. As I'm speaking now, it's in the Steam sale, and it's also available on Switch and the consoles. Check it out, that's Haiku the Robot. That's our video today. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like. You can subscribe to the channel for more, and there is a Patreon at patreon.com/gaminginthewild if you'd like to support the channel further and join the member-only Discord. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.